engine. Radio check, radio check. Comms are not muted, hopefully. This should be coming through A-OK right now. Welcome everybody. It's back to Black Flag Racing. And my name is Webbo, here to join you for today's race, as always. Very happy to be here and trying a few new things out here with the layout. Hope that you're enjoying it. Thank you, Purple. Appreciate that. Welcome to Kyalami in South Africa, one of the major tracks out in the African continent, with a steep history and some absolutely wonderful corners and sections of the racetrack. Home, unfortunately, to a snafu of an aborted race last season, so pretty happy that we might actually, well, hopeful, shall we say, that we might actually get ourselves some good coverage here today, and hopefully get beyond lap 2. So we're just finishing out qualifying here currently for the GT4s, as always, trying to spread as much love as possible on the stream. Of course, it's very difficult to get everybody's point of view, and Brandon, Elite Rain, I can swap between Tane, Brandon and Marnik on the lower right. I haven't seen Marnik actually streaming yet so far. I'm just going to check on the timing, because Marnik did appear for a moment there on the timing, or did I just misread Matrix? I think maybe I did. So it looks like Marnik is AWOL today, unfortunately. Perhaps the team were expecting that already. Tin has the fastest lap currently. That is a 1 minute 40.855, and he is ahead by an entire second from Lucas, with Harry, Cody, Leroy, Angel, Rick, Ruben, Nate and Crit out in P10. We've got Nate for Snack Pack, followed by the popular Keith, Brian, Jason. You can see centre screen at the bottom there. Bert, Tane, lower right, Aries, Sam and Brandon. Hopefully we'll be swapping between Brandon and Tane depending on what's happening. Then we have the likes of Arik, keen follower and member of my channel as well. You might see when on our videos that he shows up with a special dot by his name to indicate that he's a supporter of the channel. Lime, Jeremiah. Jeremiah is Runks, who has supported the channel today by allowing for no live ads for the live stream broadcast. Artie's the fastest, of course, of the GT4 drivers. His time of 1:51.062 that I can see so far. Just well, a fair distance, should I say, ahead of the likes. We've got Dave in 24th overall, Adam, Alec, Josh, Archie, Hunter, Thor, Jeff, Max, and Matrix there. Elite Rain saying he's going to give me some good coverage today. Well, that's exactly what we want to see. But right now, you're just staring at a blank screen, so you could always select another driver, so we have another point of view like Jason is doing right now. Keep an eye on somebody else. That would be pretty awesome if you could, as we watch Archie just finishing out this qualifying hour. The GT4s have the final 20 minutes of the hour to run. Of course, the GT3s get very cold after their first 40 minutes. And they have to sit in the garage. They can't go off and practice unless they've got ACC on a different device somewhere, just to get plenty of clear track for the much maligned and beleaguered GT4s. We'll get into the championship situation very soon, but for now let's enjoy the final few minutes of this qualifying hour together. A big hello, of course, to Runks, to Grace, Purple, Elite Rain and Kyle for already saying hey. Hi to Jägermag, who are cheering on Snack Pack. Jägermag, a fan of Rick, I believe. Bullman's here as well. So Gray's also helped me sort out the volume mix earlier on in the week on our Tuesday Euro Sprint session. I didn't actually manage to drive that one, but I was able to mess around and do a little broadcast of it for everybody. So if you can attend, it's 6 PM UK race start, 2 sprint races. That makes it 1 PM EST and 7 PM Central European time. Get some practice in. It will always be the Saturday track as well. Hi to Nate as well, Nate Aguilar. Good to have everybody joining live. It's great to have you all here. And shout up if you are a member of Team Keith, because that was a lot of fun last week, enjoying Team Keith and all of the chat that was going on from there. Right, okay, Marnik was suspended from qualifying today. Interesting. Thanks, Logan. I'm afraid I haven't caught up with the exact reasons and wherefores of exactly why that happened, and hopefully I can be informed, or you can let us all know. But if you are a driver, you can obviously find the information out on the penalty screens that we have available. Just finishing out this lap then with 30 seconds on the clock. There is Marnik. Hope you've been able to load in, Marnik. And if you are, be great to know if you have managed to get your stream up as well, because I have not yet been able to make that happen, make that live. You were the first driver I set up, Marnik. And I'm sure that's nothing to do with the fact that that you often ask me whether I'm watching you at all or not. But Marnik, if you're watching, get yourself on. Colin will be missing the race due to the Xbox outage. No stream from Marnik. Okay, understood. No problem, Marnik. Next time, perhaps. And Jason's here as well. Yes, all the ones you see on screen at the moment, with the exception of Tane, are running. So this is Tane. He's running through on YouTube. It's a little bit harder for me to work with YouTube, but everyone else is running on Twitch. It's a little bit easier for me to load in. As long as, unlike somebody else that published their thing earlier on, their link to Twitch earlier on, I loaded it up, and unfortunately, it was showing that it's adult content. So so that didn't work out too well, because I can't skip by that one. Just finishing out the very final lap of qualifying, and we will get you your qualifying result, although the top group aren't going to change. So let's give you that for the time being, so you can see exactly what is happening. There is Tin and Lucas. I know, Marnik, I've got it already, dude, but unfortunately, because you're not loading in today, because you're not streaming today, there's not much I can do to show it out today. I know I didn't give anyone much warning, but I didn't know if I'd be able to get it all running and working. Nice slide to finish out from Archie, but I don't imagine that's going to lift him from 27th position overall. That's the end of our qualifying session. We've got Tin, Lucas, Harry, Cody, Leroy, Angel, Rick, Ruben, Nate and Crit, your top 10, followed by Snack Packs, Nate, the 7-11, and Keith in 12th, Brian and Jason, Bert, Tane, Aries, Sam and Brandon out to P19. That will be followed by, who have we got? Arik, Lime, Jeremiah, Artie is the first of the GT4s ahead of Dave, with then Adam, Alec, Archie, Josh, Hunter, Thor, Jeff, Max and Matrix, and we'll wait to see what's going to happen when it comes to the final standings then from everybody in the qualifying session. I'll get that all ready for you, and we will probably have to turn off the the main stream of the leaderboard for a few moments while we get ourselves interested and ready and into the current. I'm sorry, I'm vamping very slightly here for a moment. Give me a moment. I just need to get hold of. There's a lot to manage, as I'm sure you appreciate. So let's get on to the standings then for the season so far. You can see Marnik is leading with the drop score taken into account. However, Tin, without that drop score taken into account, has a higher total point score overall, but it is only separated by 1 point at the head of the season. It's all about Marnik versus Tin currently. Harry is in the P3 with Nate in 4th place. Ruben and Cody bringing up the top 6, and then we have Lucas, Rick, Brandon and Tane, Crit there with ahead of Aries, Mikey and Angel. and you can see the rest of the drivers. Unfortunately, with the drop total, there are 2 drivers still on minus figures, so we're hoping that that's going to resolve itself very, very soon indeed. Then we can get into the GT4, and we can see, thank you so much to Grays for getting all this together. We've got a perfect 4 from Artie. Can it be 5 from 5? And he then, of course, has 100 overall, 75 with his drop score. Adam, Archie, and Max, the top 4, followed by Colin, Jeff, Hunter, and Dave, with Thor, Alec, Matrix, and Josh, our full field of GT4 drivers. I've got a 30-second warning in my ear, so don't worry, we're not missing anything. Just the start of the formation lap here at Kyalami. The Premier Season team standings sees Rare Metal Racing ahead of No Grip No Glory and Apex Critical, but it's still very tight there. Rare Metal in a very good position right now, but they are racking up some penalties as well. Shout out to Snack Pack for just 1 penalty, as well as No Grip No Glory. Apex Critical in 3rd, Snack Pack in 4th, Brittany Steers in 5th, and Kingsman Motorsport in that tail position at the moment, but on 165 points. Absolutely no slouch whatsoever. Let's see if I can get you Marnik's stream up and running while I get this ready, and we'll actually focus on him for a moment. So I just need to maximize that, make sure it's muted, and we're all good. So that will be Marnik's view out there, and I will get into, I'm in the garage, so thankfully that's all working out nicely, and we will get onto following our drivers then for this formation lap at this fantastic circuit. So I will get back the full view of everything for you, and let's just make sure that at least I know that Marnik's view is working a-okay. I won't get you the leaderboard until it's actually working on we've got some positions in place, but you can see there Tin leading the field in the Rare Metals Racing BMW, ahead of Lucas with a fabulous Kingsman Motorsport qualifying position there in the Porsche. We've got Harry in 3rd and Leroy down in 4th position. Very impressive from Leroy. Cody in 5th and Angel in 6th place. We've got Rick in 7th, Ruben in 8th place. No Grips Nate is in 9th, and he's in the Lamborghini. And Crit managed to qualify in 10th in the Porsche. We've got Keith, fan favourite, of course, family favourite of Keith. Shout out if you are here with Keith. I can see we've got Fire Mode Gaming is here to support Marnik as well. Remember, you can follow the live timing in the pinned comment at the top, and don't forget there is a super chat goal today. So if you can spare anything, do submit a tip, and you can get a shout out mid race here. If you're watching afterwards, there is a tip button. It's got a $, thanks button at the bottom as well. But anything you can do to support the video with a like or a share is very, very much appreciated. And then we've got just finishing this start of the lap here. Keith, Brian, Jason, Bert, and Tane, Aries, Brandon, all out there circulating, getting themselves ready, and then just going through. We've got Artie, the head of the GT4 field. Looks like everybody has filed through nicely, but certainly not going to. What am I thinking? We're not going to envy the likes of Marnik, who's going to start from 34th and last position here. At the head of the field, as we get ready at the very tail of the field, having missed qualifying for those reasons. So nowhere to hide for our drivers in the bottom of the screen, and we'll try and get you all the action as we get underway. Out of the final corner, that's Ingve corner, and we'll be ready to fire up. We'll wait for the green flag as the cars will just try and de-concertina that was getting a little bit hairy out there as they get ready 2x2 at the front of the field. Not quite on row 3 backwards, but it's dropped the clutch and it's go, go, go for a 1 hour race here at Kyalami for Black Flag Racing's Premier Division Race 5, and they're level pegging as they go through the kink, and then they'll be slamming on the brakes down into the Crowthorne turn 2. Lots and lots of cars side by side as we run through the order. I can't see any particular accidents. No one flying off the circuit at this early stage. But as I said before, it's going to be Marnik down in 34th position, who has so much left to fight for here in the championship. And we'll continue round we go, and hopefully we will get to some great overtakes later on. But at the front of the field, it's Tin ahead of Lucas. And a great early start then for our drivers as we get them all underway. And Lucas then in the Porsche, not hoping to not let Tin get too far away, but it's 0.4 of a second already. Cody in front of Harry in that P3 and P4 positions, and we've got Leroy in the 5th place. Looks like Matrix has gone for a spin in the lower left corner, but I've got you've got a better view of that than I have. He's had a little go around. It's Harry in 4th ahead of Leroy in 5th place. There is Leroy, and then we've got Ruben holding on at the moment ahead of Angel, and that's Ruben going for the move down the inside line in towards the Crocodiles. Great move, but there's a little bit of an overspill outside of the corner there from Leroy, I think it is, who's gone backwards slightly. It's Ruben in the ascendancy here, and then it's Angel behind. I think that's behind Leroy. Yeah, it is. So Ruben making the good overtake. Then you've got Angel in 7th place, trying to move himself forward as much as he possibly can at this early stage of the race. One mandatory pit stop for the drivers, and that's a dive bomb down the inside into Crowthorne. I think Leroy not quite able to get by, and now he's fully on the defensive as they go in towards that barbecue corner, one of the slowest left-handers here, and they'll go side by side and right round the outside, and that wouldn't count in F1, but it works here for Angel round the outside, and a nice overtake from Angel that way. So a great start from him. Leading the pack then with the fastest lap is Tin out there, and we'll go down the order and just see if there's anything cooking in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, Matrix a long way off the field there at the bottom left of the screen. Jason's in the thick of it in the middle, and Brandon can still see the car in front with plenty of room. We've got Rick, who is closely followed by his team here and his fan club in P8 currently. And he's hoping for a less eventful race than we saw last week. SP Rick for champion says, Otyele Gaming. We've got Keith out in 9th place in the Lexus, followed by Crit in 10th. There is Jason from the helicopter camp in P11, centre screen at the bottom, formerly known as Got King, hence the GK over his mirror, which I'll ask him to move actually. for these purposes. We've got Brian in 13th, Brandon. Let's go down and check out the progress. We've got Marnik challenging for the title here in 15th position. He has made up 20 places in the course of one racing lap. Is that for real? That's insane from Marnik. There he is in P15. He's got a long way to go to catch the very front of the grid, but you'll know that he's going to be planning whatever strategy he possibly can. Dives to the outside here, possibly trying to upset the balance there of Brandon, who you can see in the bottom right of your screen. Kyle's saying pretty sure Marnik had cleared all the GT4s by turn 1. That's awesome. Absolutely amazing. So a cut back there from Marnik, and he is going to be absolutely working the tyres. Brandon is trying to hold on here for the next corner, passing the old secondary pit lane as they run round into Sunset Corner. You'll see why Sunset Corner if we get into a sunset situation there. Of course, it is directly due west, and that's Marnik down the inside, and a lovely move from him. So nice work from Marnik as he moves himself then up to 14th position as we see things. Then there's a trio of trouble here. Bert ahead of Tane and Jeremiah. Let's give you a little bit of a Tane, shall we? Because we haven't done that yet. Let's overlay Tane over the top here. Oh, he's racing chase view. What is going on there? I've not seen that before. Most everybody else is running in that cockpit view. So Tane racing behind the car, and he's got Bert directly behind him, looking for a weakness in the game as we continue running. So good start from here, and then Bert gets a little bit wide. Here comes Runks down the inside line as they come towards the end of the lap 2. Nothing doing for Runks just yet, but that's gonna be offline for is that Bert? Yes, it is. And Jeremiah down round the outside. Some say he races inside of a closet and that his favourite sport is 10-car bowling. All we know is he's called the Runks. It's Jeremiah in 17th, Bert in 18th now, Lime in 19th, Nate in 20th. Not a good start from my former teammate Nate, unfortunately, there in the 189. And we've got Aries, the only car behind Nate in the GT3 field. This is great to see. Artie ahead of Josh, but Josh not letting Artie get away here. So Artie leading on a 4 wins from 4 races. We thought we had a dominant driver in GT4 last season, and we absolutely did. But Artie has stepped up as he stepped down, as it were, stepped up his game as he stepped down in class. Artie in 22nd and first position in his 11-car field in the GT4s, as Josh is fighting hard to make his move here. But Artie potentially with a bit more fuel on board. Possibly. Kyle saying Artie is arguably more dominant than Jondola was. Well, it doesn't look like it today. We'll see. This could be a bit of a bogey track for him. Everyone's allowed 1 bogey track, or one missed race, of course, as we continue through the rest of the field. I will just scroll our leaderboard down for you so you can see that GT4 field. I don't want to be repeatedly accused of favouritism. Matrix dead last at the moment because he had that drama at the start. And look at Artie trying his best here as Josh is fighting on the 771, the blue with a black stripe down the centre line. He's absolutely crowding out our dominant GT4 championship leader. Down the inside we go. That was a bit hot though from him, as Artie playing the long game and letting him back through again. That is awesome, as Purple says, repeatedly accused. Yeah. But running then down into the final corner, Ingve of 16 of 16, and Artie holds on at the head of the GT4 field. Great moving here from him as Arik is making up grounds. I did say that that Matrix was dead last. Looks like Arik has had some issues there, but he's out there in the Lamborghini and just ahead of the GT4 field now. Artie channeling his inner Iceman, says Kyle. Haven't heard from Family Keith yet, so maybe it was a one-time thing for them to show. Further back then, in fourth, sorry, no, that's a GT3 all day long for Sam, and then we've got Archie, Dave ahead of Archie, ahead of Hunter, and that is in 4th, 5th, and 6th positions in the class. Going back down, then let's just check out this. Is Artie and Josh still fighting? They absolutely are. Let's give you a new angle there. We've had a lot of time on the helicopter cam, but such is the early few laps. That's a wide run then from Brittany Steers. Josh has got his teammate Alec chasing him down as well, or providing rear gunner support. Doesn't look particularly supportive right now as he's having a look down the inside, and that has stolen a little bit of the impetus there, but it's very much Mercedes 1-2-3 in the GT4 field as we continue through here. I'll try and give you a little swap out there. I know I haven't shown Marnik yet. I'll do a little bit of Marnik, shall we, in a moment. Let's try and give you that, and I will select his POV. I need to turn off Brandon's. There we go. On with Marnik as he runs through. I probably should have selected Marnik early doors from the very outset, I would have thought, but it was very late to the party, unfortunately, for Marnik. Flash of the lights there from the GT3. That's Sam going down the inside there, just indicating that he was on his way through. And good start then from him, as we'll just go back to the head of the overall positions. Tin still ahead of Lucas, Harry, Cody, Ruben, Angel, Leroy and Rick, the top 8 in the GT3 field. And it looks like Marnik taking his time here to get by, but he's doing a great job and is already up into the second half of the field. You can see Marnik in P10, at least on the live timing board right now. So it looks like, for now at least, the top 3 in the GT4 field are pretty settled. We'll go over and check on our GT3 field leaders. So we'll just check in on everybody else. There's Max. Matrix still at the very back of the grid, unfortunately. Having a lonely race right now, but I'm sure other people will still have plenty of issues through the rest of the race. This is this is Lucas. Let me get a better angle here. This is Lucas, and it's Tin in front with the fastest lap of the race at the moment, and leading ahead of Lucas. Lucas out of sight, so Tin just trying to escape here, while Marnik is having to take his time to get through the more equal-paced cars around him. Marnik is 10th, says Bullman, absolutely, from the back of the grid. There is Veronica, the first of the Henrys, cheering on Keith. So it's great to have Team Keith here in the chat. Let me know if we've got the full family, already more family today, and friends of Keith. There's Harry in P3, a very impressive start for the 2 Porsches there. Lucas and Harry in 2nd and 3rd position. Cody in 4th in the Mustang. Marnik 7th, says Kyle. Wow. Okay, let's go see Marnik and his progress. Well, he's just got by Snack Packs Nate and the Beast 666. Marvelous Marnik in P7 from 35th position at the start of the race up to P7 by lap 6. Absolutely astounding performance from him. So hats off to Marnik. I didn't actually catch exactly what it was about his performance from the previous race that gave him the qualifying penalty. Maybe it was just a simple qualifying infraction in the middle of in midweek or last race that I'm unaware of. Rick then in 6th, ahead of Marnik. That gap looking at 0.8 of a second, and Marnik is absolutely storming through the field. Let's see if he's decided to go light and then take a bit of extra time in the pit lane as we get deeper into this 1 hour of racing. 7.5 minutes to go until the pit stop window is open, as we'll go full feature on the battle between Jason and that's Angel getting by. A nice overtake from Angel as he runs through. We'll just call out anything you see in the other. Especially if there's something about to happen in the POVs at the bottom of the screen, because I can't watch 4 things at once. You guys that are more interested in your friends will perhaps be in a situation to do that for me a little bit better. Let's have a look as we run through then. Just give you a check-in on the leaderboard with the bottom of the field as well. All looking okay right now. Just taking stock then of our race so far, with Nate in 8th place, Brandon in 9th, Jason, and this is Angel clearing ahead of Brian. Looks like Jason chasing down Brandon now, the 201 Kingsman Motorsport Porsche against the black and green Apex Critical racing car of Brandon in the Mustang there, just running very wide on the run through the following corners, and Jason looking good out there. Crit in 19th, says Going Grace. Hopefully, yeah, you can just about see that. He started in the, I think it was around 10th position, so it's been a big loss for Crit so far. Okay, so avoidable contact last week's qualifying for Marnik. Understood. Thank you for the clarification, Logan. I'm sure I was sure there was a good reason, so no worries on that front. Marnik's got a bit of clear air in front of him. Let's maybe turn on a bit of who should we do? Tane is racing right on the very front fender of his car now. Has he changed that, or was it Brandon who was running on the chase cam? It was Tane. So Tane was, I think, used that POV just to make the start work on the chase cam, and now he's switched to front fender. An interesting difference in racing style from everybody, as you can see. But that is that's the driver's prerogative, of course, as they try to have absolutely get the very best out of their performance. They'll be running as well as possible here. 45 minutes still to go in our hour of racing, as we've got Tane in 12th with Keith out in 13th place. It looks like a net loss then for Keith, unfortunately. As we run through, how did Ruben jump to 20th? Unfortunately, I can't give you an answer to that right now. We've got Tane then ahead of Keith for 12th place. We've got Jeremiah in 14th place. And no grip, no glories, Nate, the 189 there, chasing down Jeremiah. Nate, the very first non-admin member of BFR. So he's been with us since the very start here. Logan saying that Ruben spun in turn 1. That's Runks. Jeremiah being very, very defensive into Ingve corner. Crowd are still very much into this race, as we've got Nate then powering through, trying his level best to find a weakness in the Runks game. Runks defending hard though on the inside line, as the Lamborghini is eyeing up a run all the way around the outside. Runks says, I won't give you space. Then he kind of says, I will give you space. And in the end, Nate was not able to charge by, but stamping on the brakes mid-turn into barbecue there for Nate. And he'll be moaning in the car. I know Nate absolutely loves the McLaren. And I think he's not particularly happy driving this Lamborghini. And have been told it's a very different and a difficult car to drive, the Lambo, very on the nose, as it were, as he's doing his best now to try and find a way by and a way back up the order. Otyel Legamag says Rick is showing his natural talent. Well, we will check in with Rick soon. Rick currently P7 of the 34 drivers who are currently with us. If you're wondering why there are 35, well, my car is in the pit lane, so we get the main views here, and I can change what I'm doing and the car that I'm watching more predictably, but I do take a slot from everybody else. As in so doing, this is a good manoeuvre then from Nate, going outside to inside, forcing Runks to be defensive, but Nate will be watching those mirrors and worrying now. Looks like Matrix has caught some cars, or has been caught by some cars, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, caught by some GT3, so they've started to put a lap on, and that Runk's kind of parking it on the apex, possibly. Nate getting into the back of him, and Nate will now wait, it looks like, for Runks to get by, for Jeremiah to come on through. That was very low speed contact, unfortunately, but looked like that is the consequence of one driver going for a switchback and the other holding firm at the apex. So just one of those situations, unfortunately. That's a crowded racetrack type of racing, and that's what happens sometimes. We've got Arik in 20th, Sam in the pit lane. The pit stop window is not open yet, as far as I can remember hearing, or not hearing, as it were. Artie leading the way then at 3.1 seconds ahead of his the rest of the GT4 field. Oh, that was tight there from Artie out on the dirt. I'm sure it didn't feel quite as bad on his point, but Gillard saying, yeah, great sportsmanship from Nate, absolutely. Absolutely, just holding by. Ended up giving up 2 additional spots and a whole bunch of seconds, and that's Lime in the BMW scything past his teammate across division as they run through. There is Josh in 24th place, so that's P2 in the GT4 class. P3 is his teammate Alec for Brittany Steers Racing, looking very good for a point haul for Brittany Steers in GT4 today, but they'll be eyeing up that lead, no doubt. Dave is just being caught in the big chunky Chevrolet by Archie, running for Kingsman there in the Porsche, getting down the inside. Archie, no, was that a genuine overtake? That Porsche looking very large on the order, but on my screen anyway, I've got the overall standings showing, so turn those over and get back to relative. There we go. Accidentally, it happens sometimes. We're just watching Harry there in P3 as Cody it was in the Porsche going through as Cody in the Ford Mustang, just passing Archie out in 27th position. That is 5th in the GT4 class. The blue flags all over, and there goes your pit window open, right on the button of the 40 minutes to go mark. That's a nasty looking curve on the right hand side of the car there as the cars bounce over it. The 846 Porsche, going to be really careful upsetting the balance on a Porsche. And that is Marnik in P6 now, Marnik. And we'll get you his view of life, shall we? It's Brendon back down to Marnik then on the bottom right of your screen as he is trying now to find his way through. I'm trying not to give away too much in the way of the driver's tyre strap and condition in these views, and try and get out of Twitch advert jail as well. But this is chasing down 5th position after starting out in what I believe to have been 35th position there, Marnik, P12. You can see how he is absolutely the very best of the drivers out in GT3, second only to our championship leader Tin, and that is just intimidation, perfectly natural and legitimate sheer intimidation from Marnik as he makes his way by Leroy and absolutely grabs 5th position. Marnik absolutely doing a fantastic job so far out there. The former French-Dutch driver with a Swiss flag on his car, which is not confusing for anybody at all, least of all your commentator. But there you can see the bottom half of the field. It looks like Matrix has made his way by at least Brian and Dave in the standings. And those are the tail runners there. So Matrix, bottom left of your screen, putting in a really good stint at this point, even though he had big problems early doors. Tin leads Lucas and Harry in the GT3 field. We'll get onto those drivers very soon. There won't be far to actually go. We've got Cody in 4th, and then your driver in focus, as it was, as we follow up that P2 and 3 battle in GT4, and that's all happening. It's all kicking off now as the GT3s get by. Still 187. That is Alec, who's got himself ahead of his teammate Josh, and this is Cody and Harry in the Porsche, the Porsche and the Ford Mustang respectively. As we run through, let's give you Cody's view of this battle. As we've got, is that Rick? No, that's actually Sam down in 22nd position. Rick's teammate there, just chomping away at the rear diffuser of the Mustang. Understeer City from the Detroit car maker. As we continue then, and you've got Marnik there in 5th position, and he will be chasing down this group, I think, very soon. You can see his progress. He's closing in on that 22nd place, red and black. Snack Pack Racing. Is that Snack Pack? I think it is. Am I completely talking rubbish? I think red and black is Snack Pack. I'm looking across at my wall poster I was given and printed out from Grays, but it's a little bit weird colour in my room at the moment, so I'm struggling. Too many focus areas for me. You've got Jason, formerly known as Got King, the bottom centre of your screen as well. He's had an entertaining race so far. And we'll just move forward in the order there. You can check out what's happening with Artie, who is still leading the field of the GT4 drivers, as the GT3 top 5 make their way through. That's Marnik in the blue Lexus behind him, closing in. Reassure me that the live chat's still working, friends, today, if you can. Just haven't seen a change recently, so just want to make sure that all is well in that regard. But we just catch up with those positions at the moment. That's Marnik in 5th, Cody in 4th, Harry in 3rd. Then we've got Lucas in 2nd position. His gap is some 8.7, nearly 9 seconds ahead of P3. But unfortunately for him, he's 17.7 seconds away from Tin. Absolutely outstanding pace there from Tin. What would this race have been with Marnik at the front of the race, I wonder? That is a huge huge question mark for this Kyalami round 5 of the championship. Some drivers might have taken the view as Jason pits, you can see bottom of the screen. Some drivers may have taken the view that I just trundle around and call this my drop score, but Marnik is up there fighting for his life in that P5 now. Let's go see where he is relative to the drivers in front. You can see that the lime green shade of the Apex Critical driver Cody in P4. He's right on his tail here. You'll get a good view of it both from the trackside camera and bottom right of your screen from the POV. In fact, flashing the lights already with the red rims on this blue Lexus there, the 666. And he's got pace and grip to spare here. We'll see what Marnik is doing in terms of strategy today as well. Sometimes the Lexus behaves much better than you would expect on heavy fuel, but yeah, feeling like he's about to get held up as he then peels off into the pit lane. Apologies that the Twitch feeds are slightly off off the feed of the main screen, but it's impossible to get them all working exactly perfectly. We're dealing with a lot of things happening, but smart move, says Gillard there, into the pit lane. So from 35th position into 5th place before the pit stops, this is Angel on his way in the number 7 car. Lots of pit stops happening right now. There is Archie in the Porsche. He is running 4th in his GT4 class. Race very much on his own at the moment. So that's an interesting situation for him, or perhaps not very interesting at all. Let's have a look at a driver who's not in the pit lane, shall we? Oh, hello. We just turned on to Brendon there, bottom right, as he's mid-spin and into the wall. So unfortunately, that is 6th in the 14 car GT4 field, GT3 field for Brendon, but he's dropped down to 7th place now as a result of that little snafu spinala. Behind Archie is P9's Bert for Snack Pack in the McLaren. These are teammates, of course, so should be communicating on team radio quite comfortably, making their way through very nicely. So Brandon's got a lot of work to do here. Archie, let's go, says Otyelega. I'm not going to get you. You need to let me know how I'm spelling your pronouncing your name and which part of it is what. I think Gamag might be gaming. I'm not sure in Dutch. There's No Grip No Glory's Nate, the 189 in the Lamborghini there in P10, and Crit looking good as well. Obviously, some drivers may have pitted. Jason is one of them who has pitted. In fact, let's go out to the helicopter cam as we get this real gaggle of drivers all condensing, coming together at this stage of the race. Jason in P12, just ahead of this car, Thor, in the GT4. Jason has pitted, so he's down in the order where he perhaps would expect to be at this stage. Let me just drop down and so you can see the bottom half of the field once again on your timing screen section, and you can call out any drivers that are particularly active on the timing screen if you wish to. So drop the live timing link, the pinned comment for the live chat today, and that is Jason going through, and he's going to gain a couple of positions now thanks to those pit stops in action, so we'll be happy about that at least. Jason up to P10 now after the pit stops, but there's several drivers, at least Bert and Nate, ahead of him who have not yet pitted. A lot of love for Crit out there, so we better find him on the circuit soon enough. Let's go over to Tane, see how Tane is getting on. He's back on the fender, front bumper as we would say over here, and he's about to pit, it looks like, so he's getting ready for his pit stop. Back to Marnik, who's out of the pit lane now as well. Tin still hasn't pitted, and he is in, obviously in first position, way out in front here from the rest of the GT3 field, having a nice warm afternoon drive in South Africa right now. It means Otye, empty stomach, just call me Otye. Okay, Otye, no problem. Legamag means empty stomach. So Hungry Otley is what we're going with. I love that. Okay, awesome. I love hearing people's their YouTube handles or their gamer tags or whatever, and the reasons why. There is Lime in 29th position, who will be hoping to learn a thing or two about how to handle this BMW beast. He's probably not running over that curb on the right-hand side of the car there. That's certainly quite uncomfortable. The car's behaving a little bit strangely as they run over there, so you've got to be very, very vigilant as you come through. And there is Lime there in 1-3-3 ahead of Max. In front of him on track, the Chevy of Jeff, and it does look like, well, just wagging a front right wheel in the air there, Jeff, to try and get out of the way of Lime. After a while, as a GT4 driver, I'm sure you just wish that the GT3 would just hurry up and get by. There is Max, just navigating testing the gravel on the run through turn 15 Cheetah and to Ingve, the final corner, turn 16, as he comes over the grid. We've got Tin into the pit lane now, and having his pit stop. So I'll have a look at those lap times as well. Let's just check out. I can see the lap times on my screen as I scroll up. So there was a 1:42 from Marnik that last lap, 42.9 actually. So he's on fresh fuel. This is Jeremiah, big runks, as there's a stop-go for Adam there. And I think he's in the pit lane, so I think he may have sped into the pit lane, unfortunately. The 41 of Jeremiah in P15 at the moment. He'll be hoping, I'm sure, to get out of that minus figure situation in the championship at the moment. But there he is in 15th, not far ahead of Ruben, who's in 16th position. Ruben might be feeling like he's really owed a better result than 16th, I'm sure, after a spin early on. And you can see Matrix bottom left of your screen going through his mandatory pit stop. There's only 8 minutes left of that pit stop window. Marnik bouncing all over the curbs there. P8 at the moment for Marnik, I think. Although his readout and the leaderboard on the right-hand side of your screen are disagreeing with one another. There they go, caught up now. I think that was a pit stop in action that we saw there as Ruben is closing in. This is a genuine battle for position. Number 3 against number 41. Rare Metal Racing against Brittany Steers. And a nice, very classical racing line there from Ruben as Jeremiah is hugging the inside line. Now that worked out for him for most of a lap until we got into the final lap with Nate directly behind him. And then he got caught out, unfortunately. Nate just making a mistake on the brakes or positioning of the car. So closing in, we might see overtakes going into that final corner quite frequently. Here it is. But Ruben currently held up slightly, you've got to say, as he continues to try and get a recovery drive complete here through the course of this fantastic round 5 of the championship. Sure, of course, we are now into the second half of our season 3. A wide entry then for Ruben, as there's a blue flag on the car in front as well. Jeremiah has every right to hold on to this position, of course, given that that this is for position, even though there is a fairly good difference in speed there. Ruben put himself on the outside, and then the GT3 deciding to peel across to the inside rather than stay on the racing line as these GT3s are coming by. So that was Hunter, who should know the rules, but he was trying to do the right thing, I'm sure. BMW just prowling around. That really does look like a very menacing situation in the mirrors of Runks Jeremiah, I'm sure. And then they're coming upon a very much slower Porsche as well. That's Brian. So this is really getting very, very difficult for Ruben. He would love, love, love to get by as quickly as he possibly can, trying to hold that inside line, but Jeremiah will have the run as they continue through. It's going to be slightly unpredictable what happens with the 164 Brian in the Porsche ahead, and we're going to get tired of waiting, I think. Eventually there, Ruben on the outside. He should get the drive off this corner, as the McLaren is typically a slightly slower race car, trying to squeeze Runks to the inside, and that holding on, and there is contact in the end. Now, we'll be able to hang on to this one right round the outside we go, past the rainbow flag of the Kyalami circuit. And again, yeah, that is a similar situation for Runks there, waiting. And now, well, that is heartbreaking, I think, for Ruben. Reversing on the racetrack. I'm not sure that that is going to be fully allowed, but that's going to allow lots of drivers by and to gain time here. What happened to Tin? A disconnect, are we saying? So Cody takes the lead of the race. Tin is out of it at the moment. Tin has dropped all the way down. Now we do get disconnections, but he's completely gone. We had Lucas drop out and then rejoin last race, but I don't see Tin. I see him in 28th position right now. So I'm not quite sure. We'll go through the field because this is huge news. He's won 4 from 4 rounds so far. I'm saying that, and that cannot be true. So he scored really highly on all 4 races of the season. But I know that Lucas won a race, and I'm pretty sure Marnik won one. So I'm saying something out loud, and I'm just really heavily questioning that now. But anyway, so I know Lucas won in Bathurst. So something was a little bit up there with the standings, or my reading of them. Probably the latter. Rick is in 5th place. Marnik has now passed Rick. Nate in 3rd still hasn't pitted. He's got just under 4 minutes left to make that happen. And we've got a good bit of action happening here between the GT4 leader. That's Carl saying disconnected twice for Tin. Unfortunately, yeah, down now to 32nd position. Tin from the lead of the race, from the lead of the championship as well. And there is the action that's happening. So everything's suddenly opening up for Marnik, and you can yeah, there we. I was just thinking exactly the same thing as Logan there, going Grace. What a fantastic run here from everybody. Stressful time for Artie as Angel, Tin, and Nate go through. But yeah, this is an open door then, an open goal even for Marnik, who's in 4th place at the moment on the field, starting out in 34th or 35th position, with some disconnections, with some mechanicals from the driver's concerned. This is a really, really big deal for him. Good progress from Matrix after a disastrous lap 1. He's in 31st position, and has got himself ahead of one of the GT4 colleagues out there. We've got Lime in 23rd. There in the rare metals BMW, the 133. Crit is in P10, so back about where he started there, Crit, and he's got Brittany Steers Keith not far behind him. That is Keith in the blue Lexus. Behind them still further is Aries in the rare metal racing BMW. That Porsche is not looking good, and he's out on the gravel as well, the 92 of Crit, so it's all looking a little bit ropey and slightly unsure of himself there for a moment. That's Crit ahead of Keith, ahead of Aries on track, 10th, 11th, 12th, and we saw this last race as well, how tight the field is in the midfield. Absolutely outstanding little slide in the rear there from Aries as Keith pulls alongside. Keith going for the run down the inside line here on the left-hander, and looks like an overtake, sounds like an overtake, but he's got Matrix directly in front of him as they come through the next one. Matrix on the racing line, as he should be, and running through the right-hander of Sunset, and there we go. Keith securing that 10th position, then up into P10 for Keith, and ahead of Crit in P11 now with that bashed up Porsche front. As yeah, I thought one of Keith's fan club would be enjoying that one. That one's for Veronica, I'm sure, and that's a little bit of Matrix getting out of shape out the front there. Let's continue then to try and find where the lead of our field currently is. Well, Lucas leads the field. I thought it was Cody, but it's now Lucas leading the field. Where is Cody relative? He's down in 2nd position. So it's saying, yeah, that we've all done the same number of laps. We've got the top 7, inclusive of Snack Packs Nate, on the lead lap at this current time. The last lap there from Lucas was a 1:43. It was Cody who had just done his pit stop, a 2:08 pit lap for him, an out lap. So Lucas in P1. Let's see if we can't find the gap out to to Marnik. Well, he's going to have a big gain on Tin here at the head of the field. That's Snack Pack Sam in P15 at the moment, just in the middle of the leaders. Sam ahead of Ruben on track. There's Ruben, and behind him you've got the Ford Mustang of the Apex Critical Racing Cody in P2 here. But they'll all be feeling a little bit nervous if anyone is telling them on team radio that Marnik has made his way up from the back of the grid and is chasing them down for a podium at least today. 20 minutes to go here on the race. There's Jeremiah in 17th. He's really struggled today, being passed through Ingve, turn 16, this final corner now. A couple of drivers have messed up the backside of the car. Arik in 18th place, with Thor in 24th there, but it's actually third in class in the GT4 class. Behind him you've got Tane. We have been watching Tane a fair amount, but Marnik is showing as P3 now. Marnik, now that all the pit stops have taken effect, you can see bottom right of your screen Marnik registering as P3 as he goes the long way round. That is, I want to say that's Tane. He's just passed, or was that Hunter? I think that was Hunter. He just made the move by the Rare Metals Racing Mercedes of Hunter in the 22. Marnik, the absolute star of the show once again here, I think. Back of the grid to P3. I'm just trying to see how far ahead the rest of the cars are. I think it's looking around the 20-second mark to the lead of the race, which I have to say is not out of touch for Marnik there. He could potentially still be planning on a P2. We shall see as we get deeper into this one. So that was Thor. Then we've got Hunter, Thor and Hunter, very close to each other. They're the two Mercedes-AMG Apex Kingsman Motorsport Racing drivers in 24th and 25th, 3rd and 4th in class. Hunter will be absolutely overjoyed, I think, with a P4 today in his class of GT4 field. You've got two drivers for no grip, no glory, just navigating each other. That's Harry in the GT3 Porsche ahead of the GT4 Chevrolet. And it's all looking a little bit odd there with Rick in P5 as Rick dives down the inside into the final corner. Ingve, as Otyi says, wow, Marnik is crazy good. Marnik is marvellous, as I've said before. But yeah, great run from Marnik here, and we'll keep an eye on his progress, whether he can get any further. But a podium is an absolute dream result from what is a difficult situation with his qualifying. That was Rick just looking a little bit wide there on the corner, but I think being slightly distracted by everybody else around. Tin is back on track, says Logan. A risky move being so many laps down. Well, risky why? Just, I mean, there he is in 32nd position right now, but he has done 21 laps, and I think the leaders are on 24, 25 possibly now. But he wants the points, wants the experience. But yeah, high potential for penalties at the back of the grid, because you're overtaking so many cars and you're so much faster than the cars you're racing with. But ultimately, he wants the points. P7, there is Snack Pack's Nate, the head of the two Nates, I think, today. So he's not usually the lead Nate, the 711. I think he'll be enjoying this one. But as I say, Tin in 32nd place now, having managed to get back into the server, rejoin and get back on with it. But Lucas is the leader of the race now in GT3. Could be his second win of the season, potentially, unless Marnik has got anything to say about that. Snack Pack Racing's Nate heading up to try and make the overtake here, not for position on the GT4 Mercedes-AMG of Hunter. HUN aglow on his windshield. And behind him we've got Dave as well. Then there's Brian and Leroy. Leroy is 8th. Archie is 27th or 6th in the GT4 field. Here is No Glory's Nate, the 189. And he's been a bit up and down today. Qualified well, dropped down in the first third of the race, getting back to the top 10 now in P9. There is Max in 28th. Josh is in 34th and 11th overall in the GT4 field. Back to Keith there in the Lexus. Has put a gap now on Crit. That's 3.4 seconds the last time when we saw them overtake a few laps ago. There is Keith wearing the Gran Turismo badge on the front of that Lexus. That's got to be awkward for the ACC developers to do that, but there it is. Accuracy over brand protection for Keith. I spent a lot of time in the Lexus in GT7 actually, which is why I then chose it when I moved over to ACC. Thinking that it would have some sort of reference point. It was absolutely no help whatsoever, but I couldn't break the habit. So a little bit of a scuffed up front Mustang on the 420 there for Brendon. Still think we should have a 20th of April 420 race for the number, or there around there anyway at the weekend. I think everyone wants that number who isn't number one. Aries in P13. Good stint there, and Lime in 21st. Behind him on track we've got Bert in 14th place, Jeff 29th overall, 8th in class, and Snappack's Adam not far behind him, just 3.7 seconds. He's also got Artie there in 22nd, his class leader, about to put a lap on him, while Lucas, the race leader, tries to put a lap on the class leader at 64. So it's definitely where the action is right now. Pullman saying 420 is your birthday. Awesome. That's great. So I'm sure everyone's jealous. So you have a good claim, Pullman, to that number, that race number. So I think you should take part in the 420 race, and it should be a single make as well. Maybe the Expo, so no one's got any complaints about favouritism. A little flash of the lights there from Adam as he's following. Might be racing on controller. That sometimes is a key bound to the left stick that you're steering with. So sometimes controller drivers are flashing the lights, and it's not in aggression or anger or to communicate anything. It's just simply because they're pressing the steering stick too hard. You've got Lucas then leading the race out there ahead of Cody, who is some distance away right now. Cody will be thinking about Marnik, I imagine, especially if his team are communicating. Marnik is in P3, 12 seconds off this position for Cody. I think that has come down from something like, I want to say around 18, 19 seconds after the pit stop procedures took place, down to the last 12.25 minutes then of this race. Can Cody be caught by Marnik, do you think, in 12 minutes? That's 12 seconds and 12 minutes. That's a big ask for him, so we will see. But just the three drivers at the top of at the head of the field still on the lead lap, as far as I can tell on the timing screen anyway. They have all done so far 27 laps. Harry and Rick have also done 27, but they are not on the same lap currently as our outright leader. And this is Cody continuing then in P2, just trying to pace himself. I think here he's too far away, some 7.6 seconds away from the leader. That's Lucas. Don't think there's a big difference in strategy choices for them all so far today, but that is just getting by Artie, the class leader, of course, of the GT4s. So lots going on track, as always. This is Tane, and he's Tane has not been able to stick with one view on his run so far today. I think he's trying them all. I haven't seen him racing inside, an offset camera position or backwards facing camera position yet, but most every other view he's used so far today. There's Cody just getting by the Chevy of Jeff, and it's all action further back. Then we've got Sam here in Snack Pack Racing, BMW number 80, making his way by Artie, and then behind him on track and in position you've got Runks as well, Jeremiah, who has been in the wars today and will not like it when, if anyone happens upon his rear wing gearbox diffuser area into Ingve anymore. Here is Marnik in the 666. He is currently on his fastest lap at the moment as well. Let's see, Tin. He hasn't made his pit stop either. So Tin, adding insult to injury there. Poor Tin at the moment. You can see here is Tin on track. He's going to get a penalty for not completing his pit stop during the pit stop window. Would you believe it? Even though he's been disconnected for several laps. I'm showing Tin on my leaderboard at the moment, still in 31st position. He's currently circulating on a 1:41.436. He does have the fastest lap of the race, just 0.2 of a second faster than that, 41.2. But it's not going to do him much good if he ends up with a penalty as well on top of everything else. What an absolute disaster for Tin today. It's been heartbreaking for him and the Rare Metals racing team, unfortunately. But he's ahead of Tane, who we've got in formerly known as That One Sim Racer, if you're wondering what I've put next to his name. That's for my sake, really, rather than anybody else's. I should probably edit that and take that off. It's not very helpful to anyone. Then he's back on the chase view again, is Tane. It's just giving us plenty to talk about, I think, as he runs. And that is Tin, wide and off. Struggling, but a great save in the end. Wow, what an amazing catch from Tin. He has got to be feeling all sorts of feelings in his seat right now, because that has been one hell of a difficult race so far for our pole position driver and of course our leader of the race earlier on. So let's have a look at. There's Tane. We see him in picture as well. He had a great view of Tin's slip there. P18 Tane right now. That One Sim Racer seems to use chase view when preparing to pass. That's a great shout, Grays, and he did it at the start as well for general awareness, which you know, I've not seen anybody do it before, but it's a very sensible approach if you're worried about your sort of peripheral vision. It's a good move. I tend to switch out to the fender cam when I'm pitting, which was a tip that I was given from number 189, Nate, when we were racing together in Team Refried Beans on Toast last season, to try and line up in your pit box better. So that was his top tip for me. This is Alec in the 187, currently second in his GT4 field. As coming on by comes Rick, still in P5, showing a lot less damage than the Alton Park round. He had a scathing review in the live chat from one of his friends who dropped the hammer right at the end of the live chat last week. So I felt bad for him, because he was doing his absolute best. There's no doubt in my mind about that. There's Brandon lower right, and we'll switch out to Marnik to try and restart his view. Just needs a little bit of a adjustment on my side. There we go. Apologies, it's not very smooth, but we get there. It's a lot to handle. Usually we have a whole production team doing things like this for everybody. Let me know if, on reflection, if you've changed your mind, if you'd rather still just see this this kind of view once in a while, perhaps when there isn't much action on track, or whether you appreciate it and like it nonetheless. That was Jason there getting past, and you saw it happen again in the lower portion of your screen as well. And I do hope all the other drivers don't mind me doing this as well. I am pretty sure Matrix doesn't, because he takes my feed and produces a video next race. But again, if drivers wish to opt out, then they absolutely can. But I thought I'd give you something slightly better more interesting to look at, perhaps, and something for the fan favourites as well. I'll try and make rolling feeds as well, but there's a limit to how many I can run on my PC at once here. Just in front, that's Leroy showing P7. Again, mentioned earlier, but Leroy's doing great, and our Rare Metals Racing are on for a great payday today, with the exception, of course, of team leader, and that's probably on me. Leroy into the barrier, got into the GT3, the 187. Alec there, unfortunately, and is spinning off and out of the race. Oh, that's a horrible rejoin from him. That is absolutely terrible, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it that way. That is Brian down in 33rd position, and it's happened again. It's happened again. Insane there. Who was that? That was Keith, unfortunately, that went in. I was thinking that might have been Marnik, but that was Keith who got into it as well. And yeah, we definitely need to be thinking about our rejoins, and that was absolutely disastrous there for several drivers as they came through. So a horrible, horrible situation for all the drivers who made their way by, unfortunately. Yeah, as Logan says, stewards, get ready for that one. Wow. Yeah, well, we caught it on stream, but none of the drivers in focus were actually part of that review. I was just saying Rare Metals were on for a good result, and unfortunately that is huge then for for Leroy, down to 11th place now, Leroy, as we'll have a quick look in on Lucas, leading the race here with 4.5 minutes to go. He is some 10-ish seconds ahead of Cody, I want to say, right now. Nothing the drivers approaching that situation could really do about it. I have to say, it's all on the car rejoining, and they have the track map generally in their view. Now, you can see a difference here with some drivers will have the track map in focus. Look at the lower left, lower right of your screen. It's actually not much in the way of visibility, and when the whole world is spinning around you, quite hard to find out which way is forwards in that situation. So I would recommend drivers take the wider angle, large track map when they're rejoining at least, but you can't really change it on demand. So I don't know what you guys think, but whether that would help in terms of general track awareness. But yeah, that was a big problem then towards the very end of our race. When drivers are flagging, they're starting to lose their focus, really get tired. Sometimes if you're racing somewhere particularly warm, you are really getting very warm indeed at this stage of the race, and it's still quite early in the US of A as well for some drivers, particularly Eric, I would say, out there in Alaska. I think he gets up pretty early to race with us, so some drivers haven't quite caffeinated to the normal level by the point at which they're racing with us, but that's enough excuses. 5.3 is the gap now, Cody, to Marnik, with 3 minutes on the clock. Cody has a couple of cars to pass here. Can Cody hold on for apex critical racing in the black and green, or will Marnik, the marvellous miracle worker today, from 34th or 35th on the grid, certainly dead last at the start of the race, up to the podium? Thanks in a small part to Tin, but I think he'd be fighting for this podium regardless. Coming through the final part of the race track here and into the final corner. Probably just saw at the top of the screen there a quick flash of Marnik as Cody gets by the GT3 car down in 19th position. That's Lime, who oddly enough isn't driving a lime green apex critical racing car. He's out there in the Kingsman Motorsport colours, which I still kind of think is a little bit too similar to Rare Metal Racing from a commentator's perspective. Cody needs to navigate Hunter quite quickly here, down the inside into Yngve. It's a nice manoeuvre from him, so that will put him in a good position on the way into the next left-hander, Crowthorne, as it's very busy on track. And there's Marnik in the blue Lexus behind Hunter now as everybody else has made their way through. Marnik's gap to Cody as we finish out is under 4 seconds. I'm reading 3.6 at current estimations, but he's got 3 or 4 cars in between him and the main challenge there. That's Marnik scything past Hunter. He is not in a mood to be held up by anybody today. And Crit in the Porsche in 20th, Lime in the BMW, and then ahead of them the Mustang of Cody in P2. So this is the battle. This is it then for the podium of GT3. Trying to get you a nice wide angle, but sometimes the helicopter gets actually quite close here to what is going on. There goes Crit down the inside of Lime. That is not for position. That was Hunter spinning on the outside there. You've got Cody, who's been held up by Hunter as well. Look at the apex critical black and green of the P2 there in the foreground. He's also now closing in on, I think, a GT4, and the gap then between Marnik and Cody is super close. 30 seconds. This will be the final lap of the race, I'm sure, and Marnik will be focusing fully on the Mustang ahead of him, and whether he can get Cody. Cody will be sweating buckets in the cockpit. What a very close race we have on our hands here. Lucas is leading the race 14 seconds further up the field. And it has been an absolutely fantastic performance from Lucas. We'll just check out where exactly he is on the racetrack. He's about halfway round this final lap as the clock goes dead and the drivers will finish after Lucas. He's got a fairly worrying time ahead of him, but 1 second is the gap then to come down to it between these two drivers for second position as we finish things out. What a fantastically close race this is going to be. Right to the flag. Marnik has had the pace of the field today, with the exception of Tin when he's been with us in the server. As there goes Utyi saying, Rick, well done today. He has been fantastic, has Rick, and there is Marnik looking absolutely awesome. You keep focusing on that lower right of the screen. I don't want to miss the moment where Lucas comes through. He's coming through the crocodiles into Cheetah Corner. He probably will just take a pause then as he runs down here into Ingve for the final time of asking. The 416 for the second time this season is the winner, and Lucas takes the flag then in Kyalami. What a fabulous run from him. Congratulations to him as we come through. Marnik has overtaken Cody right at the death of the race. Marnik gets by and takes home second place from dead last, not being allowed to qualify, and he crosses over in front of other drivers. But I'm wondering if that's going to get him into some trouble there as Crit and Lime come through. He was busy celebrating and crashed into other cars there. What a great run from Marvelous Marnik in P2 and taking that second place away from Cody right at the end. Harry will come through and take home, I want to say come through and take home fourth. Where is Harry on track? I think I've just missed him. There he is. So Harry's gone straight into the pits already. The 188 has come home. Rick is in fifth place, and I can't see him anywhere right now on my view of things, but really fabulous run from him. The driver's just closing out their view, so I'll switch over to the main view here to finish things out. And you can see Artie is going to win once again for GT4. Another great run from the Rare Metal Racing AMG driver. And there is Artie with the P1 in GT4 yet again. Great run from him. So congratulations to him. What a fabulous race we had on our hands. This is going to take some digging into to really get through all the information here. That looks like Jason celebrating the end of the race. A P7, he's very, very happy with a P7. Congratulations to him. That's 14th home for Jeremiah. I'll try and take you through the order. It's hard for me to find out the GT4 field, but I can be pretty sure that Artie is the winner ahead of Alec and Dave. Tin got up to 24th, but I'm kind of thinking he's probably got a penalty. I think that's him possibly with a 132nd penalty maybe for not pitting. Let me just get rid of that on the screen. Yeah, Tin with a 132nd for not satisfying the minimum pit stop criteria. The irony of that is insane. Hunter home, I want to say in 4th place in class as well, ahead of Archie, Thor, Max, Jeff, Leroy, Adam, Brian, Matrix and Josh. But your winners, your GT3 podium today is Lucas, Marnik and Cody, ahead of Harry, Rick, Jason, Nate, Brandon, Aries, Ruben, Bert, Sam, Jeremiah in 14th, Angel in 15th, Eric and Tane. Behind them, Keith and Crit 18th and 19th position after that disastrous rejoin. Lime, the final of the drivers in the GT3 field who finished ahead of the GT4s. Well, that was a very, very entertaining race. I'm going to try save the replay for everybody as we're finishing things out. Yeah, really, really entertaining race. Thank you so much to everybody for your attention today and your excellent live chat experience as well. Really appreciate you all. If you are feeling like you can leave a tip, then I'd be very grateful. Yeah, that's a fabulous race. I'm going to try hard now and to try and get everything saved here, or at least it's telling me that the replay has saved, so we'll try and trust that that has happened. But let me know if you've got some highlights that we didn't catch, and I'll try and look them out and see if they're interesting as well. But back to garage, and we will get the timetable view. We should be able to then at least look at the race result for a second before it cuts out. Everyone's exiting, everyone's disappearing. Thank you once again for your attention, for hitting something positive under the video today. And from me, Webbo, and us all here at Black Flag Racing, thank you so much for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.